All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we go. Game number 3 coming at you here. Mouse versus Ninjas in Pajamas, and quick math suggests that that means both of these teams won a game. You'd be right. It was the first game for NiP, the second game for Mouse Sports. So we got our final game here. One of these teams will be eliminated from the Summer 7 European qualifiers after this. The winning team will advance on to play Pro Dota in what would then be the losers bracket finals to see the winner of that then advancing on to the playoffs or not. So again, 4 teams move on to the playoffs ultimately, and then one of those will move on to the main event, the $100,000 Summit 7 land to happen in June there, as you saw. So I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Tsunami here. We got an interesting start this time, man. Mouse Sports going with the Ricky first pick. That's different.
NiP finally may have been respect, but they ban out the IO. Either they're like, I'm sick of dealing with this hero, or they're like, I want to see you use another strategy. And well, by golly, this is a entirely different strategy. A lot of heroes that were being not seen at all. Crystal Maiden was being banned out in, I believe, the first and second series. Baden and Ricky, heroes that are kind of they're very solid first phase picks, but yeah, I haven't seen too much of Mouse Sports recently. I haven't seen too much of maybe next time's Ricky, aside from Boston. But since then, I can't say that I've seen too much of it. But he's made his name on it, so really, there's nothing to be concerned about. So far, I like Mouse Sports opening. It's definitely different and something that hopefully can throw NiP off balance. But NiP are already a little bit off balance after that game too.
No doubt, but you know what? They got the Magnus. We stressed how that's already a 2-0 hero in this series alone, and in general, a very, very contested pick, as they should be amongst many teams. So that paired up with the Crystal Maiden. So yeah, NiP, I like the start definitely for them with all of that said. But yeah, Mouse Sports, a little more flavor on their side, as you mentioned, with the Ricky. Maybe next time, that's where my mind went to, especially Bounty Hunter, even, from that Boston Major.
Exactly.
Those kind of heroes will stealthy, going to kill your couriers and keep guessing where he's at. It feels like it's very fitting for him as a player, so makes sense there. And now the third pick to come for NiP. They banned the Lena themselves. They ran it the first 2 games.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and Mouse Sports banned out their Ember, so not really. I can't see the clear strategy with the bans this time. In the previous series, I know NiP were seeing that IO, and they repeatedly banned out the Legion Commander and the Bat Rider in the second phase just to make sure there was no real follow-up. And in this situation, I think teams are going for their own strategies rather than trying to ban out enemy strategies. But with Magnus, you have so many options. You ban out the Ember and Ursa, sure, because those are 2 heroes that clearly synergize with it, but there's still plenty of potential. You've got the Juggernaut, you've got the Anti-Mage that we saw in Game 1. NiP have plenty of options with this opening with the Crystal Maiden Magnus.
Definitely putting some thought into it here, and Clockwork is what they end with. Trixie has been playing a little bit of Clockwork recently, and it feels like it has been a fairly successful here. And then Bane in response. All right, we're picking up here.
Yeah, Clockwork, it seems to be seeing a resurgence, especially in the European scene. But now I'm kind of wondering how the lanes are going to work for NiP, because Jungle Magnus was kind of nerfed in the sense that Empower mana cost was nerfed. And so I haven't really seen too much of it, and especially because you're going to be going up against a Ricky, which Ricky can only bother one person. Both Magnus and Crystal Maiden are both exceptional junglers, and Ricky is only one hero. But this is what started out as a pretty conservative draft from NiP is starting to come out as kind of greedy. Not to say that Clockwork is an inherently greedy hero, but however they choose to lane this is going to be interesting.
Oh, wow, yeah, good point. That just hit me as you said that. Magnus made it definitely isn't out of the out of the option, but
that's true.
Clockwork 4 position has been seen before too. So yeah, as you said, it's going to be interesting to see where they value which of those heroes. And Terrorblade coming out, so we're going to see some Era Terrorblade here. That 1 position more than likely. Yeah, the Bane pick again, though, for Mouse Sports. We mentioned how it just kind of flopped in that first game. It felt out of place, as Bane usually tends to. He's just not a strong meta support hero right now, but they're insisting on making it work here.
Yeah, and this game, Fiend's Grip, has a lot to be concerned about. You've got Skewer, you've got RP, you've got Frostbite, you've got Battery Assault, you've got Cog, you've got Hookshot, and that's just with 3 out of the 5 heroes that NiP have. So Fiend's Grip's going to be very tricky, and yet again, it seems like Mouse Sports don't really give Spartan too much farm on this Bane. They kind of let him lane, but they don't really give him too much farm priority. And an underfarmed Bane proves to be a liability at times. At least this time, there won't be that Rubik counterpick that we saw in game one, but still, it's going to be difficult for Bane to find his place in this game. And at least you have some setup. This time you can put Nightmare into a smoke cloud, or now you can put it into a charged trap from Templar Assassin, and, you know, meld strikes as well. But still, it's nothing too exceptional that NiP needs to be concerned about, that they're like, oh, we need to get like a really solid ranged hero to be able to take off Nightmares or something like that. I think NiP can keep on playing whatever game they're thinking about playing this draft.
Wondering if I feel like NiP should probably ban out the Life Stealer here, as that could be decent for Mouse Sports. Still needing that one position, and, you know, Life Stealer bomb with the Ricky could also be scary. So
Life Stealer, Juggernaut may be a little bit of an issue. Like heroes that can easily follow up after a Nightmare. Mouse Sports doesn't seem to prioritize it, but it's still something that you need to be concerned about, and especially as a Terrorblade, because even though Bane, you know, I keep talking about Nightmare and Fiend's Grip, Brain Sap is pure damage, and Terrorblade does not have very much HP. He has tons and tons of armor, but who cares when you're taking freaking 300 pure damage right off the bat of a fight, or, you know, when you're getting close to Sunder range. So
yeah,
Terrorblade is going to need some protection in this game, and Crystal Maiden is, you know, an okay lane support, but if you're getting bullied by an Abaddon and a Riki, Crystal Maiden can't hang with those two.
Ban Slark here instead. Would definitely been another annoying hero. Razor ban coming out from Mouse Sports. Interesting.
Yeah, so they're expecting not a Magnus mid.
Wow. Okay.
Radiant team pick.
Is that a one?
I mean, one position Timber keeps on coming back, and it has successes, but more often than not, I feel like I see its failures. Maybe that's just my bad luck. But the one game that, like OG picking that one position Timber in the grand finals of Kiev is definitely a success. But there was some other game in Kiev that also had a one position Timber, and it failed miserably. Oh, it was the Secret game, the Secret versus SG game.
Oh,
where Puppy drafted that one position Timber Saw, and it did not work. It worked very, very poorly. And at least for what it's worth, this game, there are two strength heroes, so Whirling Death has a purpose, and Chakram is good at killing off Terrorblade illusions, but NiP definitely have infinitely better late game right now.
OD coming out with the final pick for NiP, so we'll end up with the OD here. That's what they like in response. Interesting final pick. Again, they already had plenty of scaling in the late game with the Terrorblade, but they wanted more of a potentially active mid hero instead.
I guess this Clockwork must be like being lane support Terrorblade, which Clockwork is pretty good against Timbersaw. It's the same reason why we give Clockwork an advantage against Axe a lot of the times, is because just so much magic damage. And you do have to be concerned with the fact that Timbersaw will be taking chain and can get away from most of your magic damage, but still, you do a good job at zoning out a Timber. Even though you are strength, you will be eating a fair amount of damage from Whirling Death. It's still not that bad, but yeah, we'll see where Hani decides to spend a lot of his time, because if he doesn't spend it bot, then Crystal Maiden and Terrorblade are just going to get obliterated by the Abaddon and the Riki.
So it is, yeah, going to be the 4 position Clockwork indeed. Hani, the one playing it here, so Trixie. More of that offlane usually, so other than that, people playing which hero makes sense here. Matter of loading in now. Are we in a pause or something? It feels like this is taking forever.
Yeah, apparently.
There we go.
Maybe next time it disconnected, yeah. Which Riki he has a lot of options of where he wants to spend time, because mid lane is pretty easy. Once you see OD use an Astral for maybe a last hit or something, you immediately start going in, and Templar Assassin can totally take advantage of Riki initiation with an Orb of Venom, because you have so much damage with that refraction buff. So there is a lot of stuff that maybe next time can do this game, especially in the early game.
All right, here we go. Game number 3 again. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, as he mentioned, he maybe next time does DC right there. They've been having some DC issues throughout the series, but hopefully get a clean one here in Game 3, and nice finish, an elimination match. After this one, guys, we do have another series lined up. We got Alliance versus Vega Squadron. should be a pretty good series there. Always a fan favorite alliance, especially, and Vega Squadron, a strong team, no doubt, from the CIS region. Empire, in fact, speaking of CIS region, they're the one team so far to qualify for the playoff stage. They've looked good doing so. Vega Squadron would like to join their brothers of sorts in that sense of doing the same later on today. So we'll see which of those two teams moves on to the playoffs. But right now we got to finish again a series in which of these gets eliminated even, and who will move on to play against Pro Dota Gaming. So. All right, here we go.
Both of these teams have a real bone to pick with Pro Dota also.
That's fair, yeah.
As NiP especially from today, but then mouz Sports also from earlier in this specific tournament. So, yeah, Pro Dota are going to be the final boss for both of these teams, but you've got to get through the first few dungeons first. And based off of the draft, I prefer NiP, but that's just because in game one, mouz Sports just were not able to do anything with this Bane. It's this Bane that really concerns me the most. But if Spartan manages to find his place in the game, then I have no doubt that mouz Sports will be able to progress well into the late game, even though they don't have the best draft. Their early aggression should carry them there.
Maybe next time. He's getting some vision down in the Radiant jungle here. Also going to block that spawn camp right there as well, and now he's heading back up to the left side jungle. Where do they have any kind of sentry or anything? It doesn't look like it. He's not going to go for any kind of steal, at least just yet. He's running back in, as if he may.
Yeah, there's no dust on either of these heroes.
Oh, they're pinging. Oh, they put a sentry over here. And he is going to take it. Yep.
Nice.
Good start for mouz there. They get a 3-for-1. So, yeah, they're pinging like exactly where he is, but, again, they can't really do much about it.
Oh, and Bane successfully takes out the mid ward, and now gives the second sentry ward to maybe next time. So, yeah, it looks like MNT is going to be spending a lot of time bullying mid. He sees that he's in range of a sentry as he draws creep aggro. Now the question is, who eats faster?
Mickey will say hello. Just
and Mickey actually attacks,
yeah.
So MNT knows that it's kind of on the eastern side. Okay.
Gives him a little bit more information, as you pointed out, but MNT for now is just going to kind of wrap around, maybe check to see if we can find any supports here. But they happen to both be hugging the trees here in the middle lane. So we're definitely going to see some action here in the middle. There we go. The OD puts under.
Cogs.
Onto the Bane right there. The Cogs are going to go off eventually. Nice positioning right there. The root on top of them. But Bane gets his way through. It's not going to be enough, though. First blood in favor of Hani. Maybe next time, just couldn't really get here in time.
Yeah, and even if he came, he would have been on the south side of the river, would have just gotten Cog bounced back. But Spartan comes right back. Does not need to really help out at Timbersaw. Obviously, it's a 1v1 situation. Timbersaw versus Magnus is going to be pretty even. Nothing too flashy going on there. And you could help out the bot lane, but Skylark is also doing just fine because Terrorblade doesn't have any support. Right now, the Clockwork and the Crystal Maiden have been spending a lot of time mid. They get the first blood. Now they progress over to the bot lane. And now we'll see how long this tri-lane stays a tri-lane.
Exactly. Now it's like the natural transition here. Crystal Maiden going to attempt a jungle of sorts, but Ricky, can he maybe steal the last hit? He is being seen right here. And actually, he's going to be cogged up, but now Crystal Maiden run down by Skylark. Taking advantage of that curse, and Hani having to get out of here. He's going to run into Bane, though. This is a desperate maneuver here by Clockwork.
Oh, he's dead.
He's dead for sure. The Nightmare. No, the Cogs. Yes, the Brain Sap is in range. And a nice little banner here. Top it off. A lot of activity early on, though.
I'm glad that Hani has the question mark item, because we're going to be seeing a lot of question marks from his Cogs. He's been playing heroes that don't really get denies very often, but this time we're going to be seeing it plenty. The tri-lane does not get anything substantial done, really, and so now Clockwork decides to put his energy back onto the mid lane. Thug doesn't have an Observer Ward on the high ground yet, but Clockwork's not the fastest hero. Mika's going to use the Astral. Clockwork emerges.
There's the opening. So, again, Thug having some trouble. The battery saw causing issue, but now Mickey just going to block him a little bit, put in some auto attacks. Don't think it's going to be enough in the end, though. So, good execution, but they just simply didn't have enough firepower there.
Yeah, Thug was sitting on the refraction anyway. He wanted to bait them a little bit deeper, and now it might cost them.
Yeah, he just wasn't able to trap him, though. Even if he was, still probably wasn't going to happen because the refraction's up, and Mickey will get the illusion rune instead. So definitely harassing Thug quite a bit, but again, unable to get the kill here. at this point. That is a nice setup, though, with the imprisonment into the cog block there. Potentially
yeah, it's going to be pretty telegraphed, though. So once Ricky starts coming by, then Clockwork may just bumble his way in and then come into a smoke cloud, and he's going to be like, "Oh God, I can't cast anything." Same thing with Skylark. He's kind of been sitting around in this bot lane, understandably. He's going to wait until a while before he emerges. I'm curious what he'll go for on this Abaddon. Possibly the Midas into Radiance, as this game it wouldn't be too bad, and you need someone who can scale late, because Timbersaw is not going to be your traditional late scaling carry, so someone else needs to help Templar Assassin deal damage. Now Nightmare onto OD mid.
Yeah, that's going to be a Brain Sap follow-up and more than enough damage. Wow. Yeah, level 2 Brain Sap doing plenty here.
Don't sleep on it. It's a lot of pure damage, 160 pure damage. OD is another hero who has, pretty high armor. Underneath his tower, he was sitting on like 5 armor, but it doesn't really matter when you're dealing with pure damage, and Thug didn't even need to use Refraction. He hasn't taken an early point in Meld, which is a little bit surprising because you can dodge the battery assault damage, but already Hani has Dust, so he would have been ready for it. Now they're going to go again. Thug trying to break his way out.
It feels like they're going to come up short, though. Refraction up in 5 seconds. Well, maybe not. Battery assault. It is not level 2 yet, but this time it is going to be enough, actually. Oof. Yeah, Refraction at the last second, but he couldn't get it off there.
Bot lane, Era getting really heavily blocked here. Spartan has a Nightmare. They're going to get the kill.
Yeah, that's some nice revenge there. So a lot of pressure on the TA mid. They finally get a kill out of it, but because of all the support constantly being in the middle lane, that means Terrorblade's vulnerable. And he ends up dying as a result. So
he'll be able to recover fairly well. And the Ricky will be the main thing that Terrorblade needs to be concerned about. But if you keep on shutting down Thug, then who cares if Ricky knows where you are if no one can kill you? Meanwhile, Madara gets the kill. He just hit level 6 on this Timbersaw, so Chakram plus Whirling Death. A little too much damage.
I was watching this breakout here. Yeah, Insania is going to eventually get picked off, and now here comes the support from OD, but good Nightmare onto him, trying to prevent the leap in for maybe next time, but he was basically dead at that point. He had to get out of that battery cell somehow, and ends up dying in the long run. Spartan, I don't know if he's getting out of this one. He doesn't have nearly enough mana for the TP that he has in his inventory. He's just going to run as long as possible, man. That's some nice movement speed here. I mean,
yeah, and this ward, he knows exactly that both the heroes, Hani and OD, both went to catch him on the other end, and OD's like, whatever, man, you can kill him if you want, I'm going to go farm.
Yeah.
And Spartan gets out. Only Ricky goes down, so not too bad, although now Hani still wants more. But
better back
Spartan is back up. Yeah.
He needs to be careful with
because I was saying that the only thing that Terrorblade really needs to be concerned about during like the mid-game farming phase is where Ricky is, and if Ricky is farming, oh wow, what a dust on the Radiant jungle. It's speed maybe next time.
They're gonna get the kill as a result. Yeah, that was a Sentry was here. My guess is that they just happened to see him, and as a result, the dust came out.
I guess they saw this bounty rune disappear, and they were like, well, Ricky must be here, and they kill off the observer ward that Ricky just placed as he was dying. So very costly investment. I hope that bounty rune was worth it.
No, I'll probably take that back, but he's back up and going to be good to go and looking to make some plays here. But as you mentioned, Terrorblade, he's doing some jungling, so recovering a little bit, and I don't know if he's used his metaform just yet. Trying to make a kill happen, as we tend to see with some Terrorblades, but obviously it's a difficult time to do so. His supports are constantly being active, either whether it's in the middle lane or just involved with Ricky and Bane doing their thing, so they really can't have don't have the setup here.
And plus, Abaddon's about to hit level 6, so even that kill potential goes down. But Mousesports are staying true to form. They're bringing 3 heroes down here again. They killed off the Observer ward that Crystal Maiden had placed on the cliff for the bottom rune. Spartan coming in position. Skylark's not... Oh, he is 6, but he hasn't skilled Borrow Time yet.
Yeah, Ricky is coming over as well, but there goes Scarlet. He pops his Borrow Time right there. Meanwhile, Era being run down. Smoke comes out, but Era going to turn actually on a Ricky using that metaform, and that's some support from OD to assist for that. Yeah, Ricky kind of realized at that point that he was pretty deep and probably in trouble at the tower there. So good response at least from NiP. And Mickey going to go back to the middle lane now. 3 ports in. It's a little bit of lost time there, but not the biggest deal.
Yeah, nothing too substantial. Thug's been farming up Ancients in the meanwhile and not really pressuring the mid tower. These rotations from NiP are working out so well. It's one of the most difficult things about picking a Clockwork is that, like, you kind of have to fight wherever Clockwork says, I want to fight. Meanwhile, Era, he has Metamorphosis for a few more seconds, so he could turn it.
Wow, Skylark
Nice.
melting there.
Nightmare.
Borrow Time not up, but Yeah, good job with the Nightmare on the Crystal Maiden, and then the Photic Shield on himself from Abaddon there, so stays alive. But yeah, that was a little scary. You see that meta damage, man. What a Madara, meanwhile, the top lane, though. He has a level 4 reactive armor. He's just camping beyond the tower, and he's clearly causing a massive issue. Look at Trixie. He's just running this whole time. He's going to actually pour it out in the end. We'll survive, but this is being dominated up here by Timbersaw. Not that I'm surprised, but, man, he's 4,000 net worth already. The top lane.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's actually this substantial because, you know, Trixie went for the Iron Talon. You can pretty easily progress into the jungle if you feel like you're getting pressured too heavily. And obviously Shockwave is great. You know, it's not really going to be able to zone the Timbersaw out, seeing as he can just draw aggro from the creeps and get a bunch of HP regen from reactive. But still, you can farm pretty easily. But it seems like Magnus has been spending a lot of time in the lane. Now he has progressed into the jungle, but only after hitting level 8, which he has RP taken, so if they want to do something with it, they can, but they might not before he completes his Blink Dagger.
Also looking at Abaddon, mentioned the idea of what he may be building here, and again, you talked about having Timbersaw, and they could just go a little bit more of a greedy choice, and it looks like that's what he's going for. He's going to at least the early hand of Midas, and yeah, definitely wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Solar Crest first, but if anything, that Radiance coming out, you know, as one of the top priority items here for Skylark. So going to get some nice right click to go along with the TA here. Insania port spot him. This is level 2 Frostbite. Oh, you're right. Yeah, they see him here. They're going to chase out Skylark. He's fine. He has a
Photic Shield. He's waiting for Frostbite.
There you go. And there's a response. It's so tough for Crystal Maiden because, yeah, it's like, what can you do about that? Just have to wait.
What can you do about this?
Yeah, they're just harassing.
Borrowed time's up.
He's not afraid
Era
to
took
die.
an early point in Sunder, so he'll have it if he needs it.
Timbersaw coming as well. Where's that Sunder? Not using it just yet. Not needed. Crystal Maiden goes down to RP. It catches Abaddon. Borrowed time going to be wearing off right there. Skylark is going to end up falling, and Photic Shield explodes. But he does go down. Madara, meanwhile, currently out of mana for the most part. Does have a Soul Ring use. Metaform still up for Era. Spartan, he's kind of left behind. And he is definitely going to be down right here. Nightmare, the brain zap. He's trying to live it as long as possible. Did a good job at it. But killing spree now. Going to be, or double killed even for Era, but the killing spree stopped even from being right there on top of it. So good job for NiP. In response at the bottom lane, they take the hero kill lead even.
They keep putting so much energy on Era, but Era is benefiting from it every time. He's 3-1-0. He's only gone down once on this Terrorblade. And sure, he's not getting that much farm, but he's still number 3 net worth. So, I mean, it's a lot of energy spent just on one lane. Meanwhile, OD is just like, oh, okay, you guys are fighting, I can come help. And meanwhile, I'm just going to be chilling down mid. So Mouz are spending a lot of energy in one specific lane, and it might come back to cost them because, like I said, they don't have the best late-game carry. You may be able to bully the Timbersaw repeatedly, but if you're not killing him, then he's going to come out on top.
God, he's going to have a Bloodstone so quickly. As I caught that right at the tail end. Ricky just being run down there. Sentry put down to find him for sure and secure that kill. Not 100% sure how that started.
Who's going Bloodstone?
Timbersaw. It's almost finished.
Oh, right.
Needs the pattern and 300 gold here. So, yeah, it's going to be, again, a very early Bloodstone. And see, on Timbersaw, for me, it makes so much more sense because the idea they're so bulky. Middle lane, by the way, OD. He's going to get caught here. The Fiend's grip locking him down. Puts himself under, though, to mitigate. And he follows. Spart wants to kill the brain sap. He's not going to get it. Gets stopped by the battery assault. Then cancel the animation. Well played behind him right there. Traps him in. And secures a kill on him, but more importantly, saves his teammate in the end. Very good timing.
Yeah, it's poor Bane. One of the it's a short list of heroes that get chain broken for their cast animations by battery assault, but yeah, Bane is definitely one of them. You almost wish that maybe if I had gone for the right click, I may have been able to finish off Mickey instead, but yeah, it doesn't get that kill. Only a support goes down. Thankfully, Thug did not go in that deep, but it would have been really nice if you could finish off that OD. Meanwhile, bot lane, Trixie does not want to carpool with Skylark.
Yeah, that was a good job getting in front. Even with that, without that, though, I mean, the Nightmare was ready. Used it right there. Down goes Magnus. Yeah, not much of a getaway chance in the end for Trixie. It's just a good setup there with Bane porting in and Abaddon coming in with the flank. Magnus trying to get that Blink Dagger, but once again going to be stalled, so that's key for Mouz. But their top tower, while this is happening, is going to fall as well in favor of Terrorblade as he takes it out. So yeah, Terrorblade keeping that net worth nice and pretty, but man, look at TA actually. TA really jumped. He must have done some Ancients or something.
Well, you have to keep in mind that literally everyone else has shown up to a fight. Thug has not really gone to anything. He's been alternating between the jungle and the mid lane, which you know, they're only down 2 kills despite their mid not rotating, which is pretty good because OD has been showing up to a fair amount of fights, and as a result, kind of falling down. He's only number 5 net worth on the OD, whereas Thug is confidently in number 1, and he has this Desolator completed, so it might be time for TA to show her face. Or half of her face, at least.
Part of it, yeah. That whole mask kind of
Dire's middle
takes
tower
away from
is
that, I
under
guess.
attack.
Middle lane, just going to go farm there for now. And you see the top lane. Madara will fall back after putting a little bit of pressure on the tower. Again, the Bloodstone picked up. And like I was saying earlier, just the idea of the Bloodstone on Timbersaw, it's just the fact that he's so bulky and so difficult to kill. Ideally, he's going to be able to not only sustain those charges, but, you know, add up over time and, you know, keep them there. So, whereas
Exactly.
like Alina, a little more fragile. So, Hannah Might is finished, though, on Abaddon, meanwhile. Continues to farm away here. So, yeah, that possible Radiance is going to be coming up in a decent timing as well.
Yeah, you had mentioned the Solar Crest, but the thing is that the only hero that can really take advantage of it is TA, and she already has the Desolator, so if you go too all in on minus armor, it's a very expensive item that your team isn't benefiting from. So I would prefer the Radiance. It would help him scale it better into the late game. So he's going to be going for a Vlad's, which is also fine. Aura items in general are just fine, and items that basically discourage the enemy team from fighting are all good. So, oh, hook shot onto an illusion.
That's unfortunate. Well, at least you tried. It's going to be down for another minute, though, here for Clockwork, who's trying to finish his own blade mail now. Again, it's a 4-position Clockwork, so it's all right as far as his progress being made here. Trinko Boots, no blade mail to come. But now into the Roshan pit is Thug, and he's right now soloing it currently. But they're going to spot this with an illusion.
Radiant's top
Nice.
tower is under attack.
However, they're
Now the
still
question
going to
is,
stay.
how well can you contest it? You know that hook shot's down. I don't know if Trixie has shown off his Blink Dagger yet, but if he hasn't,
Oh, good point.
then this is the time.
Smoking in. Yeah, this could be absolutely huge. Waiting for that big RP. Nightmare onto the OD. Trixie wrapping around. He's trying to, but no, he's going to be spotted out right now. Spartan sees that. He's going to blink away, actually. So very defensive blink right there. Era's running in, though, as if he wants to fight this. He has a Sunder, but he takes good damage. Music Field from the uphill, though, doing plenty itself. Borrowed time activated. Going to stay alive as Skylark. Madara comes in and cuts through the Crystal Maiden. There's that Sunder, and there's the RP. Skewers that back right into the teammates. Gets the one on Timbersaw, gets the 2 on Bane, and Thug's also going to fall victim, most likely. He's trying to stand his ground. No, it's not going to happen. Double kill comes out, and it's like deja vu from this whole series. The big RP comes out and does the work in this case for NiP. Down goes Ricky on top of that, and Skylark's like, well, I'm still alive, and now Timbersaw, he is back up with that Bloodstone. So if anything, they're going to prevent them from stealing the Roshan, but still a successful fight for NiP.
Yeah, you've got these bouncers outside the Roche club, but no one on NiP can really confidently go into it, and Roche is still really low, so TA can honestly just go right back in. RP was spent, Metamorphosis was spent. The thing is that if NiP are able to bully the Timbersaw out, then positioning becomes an issue. Nice skewer.
Oh, they catch the Skylark right there, and no borrow time this time around. They were confident of that, and they secure the kill as a result. OD, he is silenced up due to the smoker. Maybe next time diving in is going to pop his tricks of the trade, but down goes Bane in return, and now MNT has to escape on out of here. Timbersaw killing off the illusions once again, but now it's a turn of NiP to actually take out Roshan, it feels like. Again, with 2 being dead, Abaddon especially. It's kind of scary for Mouse to want to engage this, but they want to, damn it. Chakram in. That Desolator on Thug allows him to do plenty of damage. Era, he gets the root, though, from his teammate of Crystal Maiden onto Thug, and Thug's going to have to start backing off right now. Refraction coming up in a second, but this is just such a slippery dance, man, as far as around the Roshan, and finally everyone's back up, and it's like this never even happened.
Hookshot is up, RP is down for another 25 seconds. Thug goes in, and he's kind of gonna get spotted out.
Oh, man.
Hookshot is ready. Everyone needs to stop blocking the
It's
Clockwork.
going to happen. There we go. Who's going to get the Roshan? They get the
Steal it.
Roshan kill. Was it stolen? Nobody picks it up just yet. Era finally
Turns
snatches
lane.
it in favor of NiP. So now he's running away. Sunder up in 10 seconds. Insania with the freezing field. Thug's trying to get the turn kill on Magnus. He got the kill on Ricky, but now Thug is in trouble himself over here as Clockwork is going to end up going down to Timbersaw. Use
have
that
no
whirling
detection for
blade. They
TA.
do not have detection, though. Yeah, he's going to hide here for the time being. Arrow, meanwhile, he has an Aegis, but he needs to be careful not to give it up. He has a Sunder,
Whoa.
though. Oh, but again, Thug's alive, so you don't want to be doing that necessarily. He's going to meld once
Fiend's
again.
grip, OD.
Over here, they got the kill on OD. Meanwhile, so he's just playing a distraction while his teammates are kind of cleaning up. So, but yeah, if you're NiP, you lose casualties, but I mean, you get the Aegis on
Radiant's
Turboblade,
middle
so
tower is under attack.
oof, what a fight.
It's, That's a tough call, to be honest. I really don't know who comes out on top at the end of all that. I mean, Terrorblade did not die throughout any of that, and so initially he was kind of suffering in net worth, and now he's kind of closed the gap a little bit. He's still in number 3 place because it was the kill of Roche that went to Mouse Sports, unfortunately, and if he did not get the kill, they just got the snatch at the Aegis, and really, they can't really do much with this Aegis on Terrorblade. Yeah, sure, it's nice. He'll be able to farm a little bit more safely with it, but he's still just as much of a liability as he was before because he had to spend so much attention not farming, policing this Roche. And Mouse Sports went in harder than they needed to after the recovery from the first fight because TA wasn't up. And while TA wasn't up, they lost the Abaddon because borrowed time was down. And they knew that in NiP, they don't have the team to be able to take the Roche. Metamorphosis was down, RP was down, OD doesn't do that much damage to Roche at this stage of the game, so you can just kind of chill. But they only lost the Abaddon, they end up getting the Roche kill. They don't take the Aegis, but at 18 minutes in, the Aegis isn't that important for Thug, especially since it was pre-Blink Dagger, but now after all that fighting, Thug has managed to farm his way into a Blink Dagger on top of this Desolator.
Yeah, that's good for TA, and you see that deliver right there, double damage room bottled up on top of that, so he has a chance to drop somebody very quickly. Wherever that next target may be, and Arrow's pushing out the middle lane. Meta is ready to go against Center, also up. They're going to spot up with the Rocket Flare even.
Trixie has RP.
That he does. So, key abilities on either side are ready to go. Bane, no Fiend Grip. That's kind of the only one. That's down. Down for only another 20 seconds, though. So, there goes the tower kill easily with that meta. Are they going to hookshot in? Thought they were. Nope, they're going to put him under, though. Maybe hookshot now? They want to commit. They don't want to get too much. The skewer misses. Well played right there. Fought the Nightmare combo. And he actually is not going to get caught as a result. And now Era has to back it off. So, yeah, they just did not want to really commit to the Bane. I mean, that's understandable. It's just a Bane, and you don't want to go too deep. But now Era from a distance with that meta form still up is going to put some damage into the secondary tower here. Again, he has the Aegis, so he's feeling pretty good. They're being very patient right now. But, you know, heroes around Terrorblade aren't getting much farm throughout this, though, so.
Yeah, it's the liability of putting an Aegis on a Terrorblade this early on, because you can start a fight, but then you need to also be able to get out of the fight whenever Terrorblade comes out, doesn't have Metamorphosis, and he's just kind of a dude with Sunder, but that's all he offers in terms of damage when he just has a Dragonlance Yasha. But they take the tier 1. They also waste Mouse Sports time for the most part, so that works out in their favor, but not too much is coming out after that bloodbath near the pit.
Yeah. Bane, what is this? Hastering in. He's just jetting on in here. He puts down a ward and he gets on out, but the hookshot's going to connect. And the cogs go up, and again, he just really can't cast anything because of the battery assault, so good catch there. Get him with the haster, and so you got to kind of wonder what he was doing. I don't know if they're going to spot this ward, though. He did a pretty good job of hiding that. And yeah, that sentry's going to miss at least, so. Well placed. In the end, Thug, bottom lane. Whew. He almost gets caught there. Man,
he did a lot of damage on this tier 2. That double damage rune really showed its worth, takes it down to deny range if they want to deny it, but that's a pretty important tower at this stage of the game. You relinquish a lot of control of your jungle if you go for the deny, and so they're going to instead return the favor, start pushing out the bot lane. They may lose top as a result if Madara wants to continue pushing top, but he's going to need to show up for a defense.
Abaddon, you mentioned the Vlads that he went for first, but now he does have that Radiance toggled. And
oh, you said it. You jinxed it.
Yeah, never mind.
You put Solar Crest into his mind.
Guess he wants that instead more so. I was going to kind of work off of what I was just going with right there with. Can he afford to still go, right into that Radiance now? Because that means the next good 5+ minutes out easily, 5 to 8 minutes even, something like that window. He's not going to, be as enhanced here as far as his items go. So it is a little bit risky. Instead, he chooses to go the Solar Crest, which is how active the game is being, perhaps.
Yeah, but then even then, I would say, like, if you want this early activity, even an Aghanim Scepter would be a little bit more effective, because, like I said, Solar Crest isn't going to be too effective in terms of damage enhancement, because, I mean, okay, Terrorblade may miss a few attacks, but you still have to worry about OD, and this is all assuming that you're able to sustain the initiation that NiP are bringing. Now, Era His Aegis goes down, but he takes that top tier 2 uncontested.
Yeah, that
But
meta
bot
form,
lane,
so strong.
Nightmare start on OD. Instead, they're going to go on Hani.
I want to get the nearby. In fact, distracted. Sanity's Eclipse comes out. I mean, it hits Spartan, but eventually will secure the kill onto him. So I think Mickey expected perhaps more to be there if I was possibly engaging. But the rest do scatter away. Middle lane, Skylark. He is going to be caught somewhat. There's a freeze, but pops the borrowed time, runs away. He'll be good. So he makes his way out of there at least. So that's a nice catch on Bane, but again, he's still up in 10 seconds here, so not the biggest deal.
NiP are being so fast and loose with these ultimates, like they just pop Sandy's like, oh,
Speaking of it.
RPSE, exactly like that.
They get it, and they knew that he didn't have borrowed time there, so very good catch on Abaddon. And now he is staying dead for a good 45 seconds. So speaking of being very aggressive and using the ultimates, and that works out.
Mousesports are playing the way that, I mean, like NiP are playing the way that Mousesports are trying to play. They're trying to be like, okay, let's just, toss out these ultimates, let's get these kills, let's get whatever we can, because you have free reign. Typically, Mousesports would be like, okay, RP's down, let's go do something. But they're just not finding openings. They're either not finding heroes with this Ricky, which maybe next time has had a real, he's been quiet under the radar, finished off the Midas, and he's getting, pretty good progress on his Diffusal Blade, but I don't really know if the Diffusal Blade is what you should be waiting for when NiP have basically 3 carries on their team, because Timbersaw is going to start falling off. He got this Bloodstone early on, hasn't gotten a charge on it in the past 15 minutes or so. Not 15 minutes.
It sounds like Jesus.
7 minutes or so. I mean, he got a pretty early Bloodstone, to be fair, but they keep on getting more and more items, and they're not doing anything with it. TA completed that Blink Dagger, didn't really do anything with it. Now has this BKB. If she can find something with it, great, but otherwise you're going to wish that you went for a more farming item, like, a Crystallis into a Bloodthorn or something.
I mean, it's obviously that Roshan fight is what really set the pace of this game. I mean, I understand that Mouse continues to be in the lead with net worth, but yeah, as far as the momentum, as far as the feel of the game, it does seem like NiP has really benefited from that. The fact that they got the Aegis stolen, it gave Terrorblade very good presence for pushing that top lane early, as we saw with the secondary tower, and now they're going to push the middle lane. Obviously, Aegis isn't up, but it also allowed him to finish the SNY, which I wanted to talk about that real quickly too, because he did this in a recent series as well, going the SNY in full on a Terrorblade, and going that over more the traditional Manta style. Does that make sense to you?
I guess that's just Era's preferred build. I mean, even things like Pike are sometimes a little bit more popular, especially when you have to, tricks the trade. They find the Ricky.
Yeah, they do.
And
he wants a tower. He's going to get the tower kill as Era, but now Mickey is hunting around. If we can find it, they're going to find the Bane over here. Nightmare on the Terrorblade. Somebody needs to take that off. Yeah, they'll just kill around him. He's just like, I'm going for a snooze here, guys. Don't mind me.
And Thug wants to initiate so bad, but he's in such a weird position. He's near this pit, not anywhere near his tower. Nope. He wants to go in on create CM, but he doesn't get it.
No.
Now she's going to get Astraled. No.
2-shot. Okay, that works. There's the Astral, though.
OD is alone here. Trixie has Blink RP. Oh, but he can't go into the cloud.
Oh, he's going with the skewer. No RP, though, because it's only the one. And he's going to try to TP out. It's not going to happen. Yeah, that's kind of awkward. I mean, he kind of saves the OD. It's not even going to save him, though, in the long run, it looks like. Mickey's still getting caught out. Yil's in the air from the Timbersaw. Smokescreen goes down, and they will catch up to the OD. So the pursuit pays off big time in favor of Mousesports there.
That was like the most staggered retreat NiP could have gone for. They had 2 heroes TP back to defend the top tier 2 that Timbersaw was pushing, but then OD and Magnus were kind of lost at sea here, and now they have all their ultimates up. They want to stall for as long. Oh my gosh, goodbye Insania.
Essentially a one-shot there.
They need to wait, but they can't. This Roche is going down too quick. 10 seconds until Magnus comes back.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to stop. I mean, it's not happening the quickest. Arrow wants to fight this. Maybe next time. Smokescreen down. This is going to be so close because, yeah, now he's back up on Trixie. And he does have that RP ready to go. They're going to get the kill. The Clockwork goes in. However, Thug steals it. Or Thug gets it, I should say. Doesn't steal it. Clockwork is unable to steal it. And as you mentioned, was that why? Yeah, so I was wondering where the Magnus was.
He went for that skewer save and immediately TP'd out. Who would have thought that it would have come back to bite him this far back? Now OD's in trouble.
OD's caught
has
out
Pike
again.
Up in 9 seconds, but that's not going to be enough.
That's a Fiend's Grip from a mass distance right there. The 4-staff forward, and he is going to end up dying in the end. So again, he's going to stay there for a good 50 seconds. Freezing Phil going up the backline from Insanity, doing a little bit of damage, but she'll be found eventually. And essentially drops so quickly. Again, Thug's been doing that very well with that Desolator, especially. So.
And he's able to do that because Skylark immediately borrowed timed after getting hit by the RP and then plopped an aphotic shield on Thug to wipe that disable off, and the RP was basically nullified entirely.
Yeah.
And they still have this Aegis. OD's dead for another 20 seconds. I don't think that they can go for high ground. I mean, Thug hasn't used his BKB a single time. It's still a 10-second BKB. And now he has another 3k gold to his name. So they're going to back off. They still have plenty of time left on this Aegis. You can farm up, get some more items on, I guess the supports as now Skylark completes the Solar Crest. So yeah, Mouse are widening that net worth graph.
Yeah, and even got Ricky. You mentioned the Diffusal Blade, and he has that, and he's even going to Yasha. So this is actually a hero that's definitely going to be able to transition pretty nicely into doing some decent damage, being a pick-off artist himself. On, say, this Crystal Maiden especially happens to find her alone or, you know, during a fight, do it pretty quickly. So that's something else to be concerned of for NiP. And then to top it all off, you have Timbersaw finishing a Shivas now. Switching around as far as his next time. I saw he had an Octarine, now he has an Ags here, so we'll see what he eventually gets, but he is going to run into some enemies.
Alive.
Yeah, that's kind of the key right here.
They have vision with this reflection illusion. They're toying with him right now. They don't know where his team is because they still have a tier 1 up, and they're going to back off.
Not worth committing. I mean, that would have been so dangerous because, again, he's so bulky, and he actually does have 16 charges now on that Bloodstone, by the way, also mentioning. So, yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty well off. As he'll fall back and gets that team support. So, yeah, TA, she is going to go the Bloodthorn next. She has the Orchid and that full Bloodthorn to follow. That's definitely a nice item to have.
Bloodthorn's going to be so worth. Mike is fallen behind a lot on this OD. He's still number 5 net worth, and that was where we saw him in the first, 5 minutes of the game. And that's understandable for an OD to be there at that stage, but 30 minutes in, you really need your OD to be more farmed than your Magnus. And so, if he gets Bloodthorned, there is nothing. Oh, hookshot connects.
Well, that was a fancy play from Hani, attempted fancy play, because he had the tricks of the trade pop from Ricky, and so he tried to force staff out of the cogs and then hookshot backwards into him, but it wasn't going to happen.
The old 360 no scope.
Yeah. Obviously, the smoke screen causing issue, too. It's a good attempt, but it is what it is. But buys more time for Thug to just farm up and, again, finish the Chrysalis, and he's 1,000 gold now for that full-on Bloodthorn here. As mentioned, and
still this 10-second BKB. This is normally the fear that I have with early TA BKBs. Is like you are playing so aggressively with it that you're just burning through these charges, and as you go later and later, then you are going to lose efficacy against these heroes like OD mainly, but also the Clockwork. Now they're starting to motion for high ground. They have this Aegis.
Skewer backwards, right into Crystal Maiden, actually, so she's going to back it off, but the Blink Dagger's used with the Refraction and actually will survive as TA. Timbersaw going in, Bane the only victim there. Not the worst deal for Mouse, considering how solid of an RP that seemed like it was. Now they're chasing, though. Mickey wants to make more happen out of this. Traps on Abaddon. Being off to the side, Crystal Maiden, and we've seen that once or twice before. She just melts the second they blink on top of her. So she's dead, Abaddon. The borrowed time has been popped. And back over half-life here himself. Again, Tia's doing this without the Chrysalis or that full-on Bloodthorn for that matter. The Skewer's going to miss this time around from Trixie, but they are holding at least. As far as Tier 3 goes.
Yeah, about 40 seconds left on this Roche, but I think they're just going to leave it. I'm surprised that they wanted to go before Thug completed that Bloodthorn. Like you see, throughout that engagement, Thug ended up making enough gold to do it, and I don't think the Crystal Maiden kill was like, oh man, I just hit the jackpot. No, that was just another day at the office for TA, but they went in before completing it. Thug finally blows his first BKB charge, and it's not, the biggest deal, but that was a really nice RP, and they're going to need to be more and more concerned about that as the game progresses, because even though NiP don't have the best team for killing creeps to help their high ground defense, the presence of that Blink Skewer or the Blink RP, obviously, is going to be repeatedly intimidating. And, I mean, OD has a Pike, so theoretically Mike could go for, an aggressive Pike into Astral to set up for stuff like a Blink back into Skewer, but it's still a lot of stuff that Mouse Sports need to be concerned about.
Something else that is kind of interesting too with Bane here. Whenever you think Bane, you think of the lockdown that he provides, of course. The Fiend's Grip, the Nightmare, the solid burst with the Brain Sap, but that Enfeeble ability is now maxed out as we picked up in this game. He's level 13 here. that's something that Terrorblade is definitely going to be hurt from. I mean, that's minus 120 raw damage right there that he'd be dealing otherwise, and he doesn't have a way to really get rid of that at least just yet. So that's kind of another thing as a spectator. It's kind of hard to see in fights, but I wouldn't be surprised that's already been having an impact and could continue to have impact.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of NiP's draft, is even if you take out one of the carries, the other carries will still be dealing damage. And, you know, there's actually nothing that Terrorblade can do against Enfeeble. Enfeeble is one of the very, very rare spells that is completely undispellable. You can make sure that it doesn't go on you if you're already BKB'd, but even BKB won't take it off. So, oh, Madara, top lane. I guess this is a difficult kill, though.
Oh, it's blade mail's up, so you got to be careful with that. Shotgun's put down. Freezing Field going to be committed, and Sandia nearly dies himself, but oh, the Sanity's Eclipse misses as well, adding insult to injury. Now Ricky is like, all right, one pick. Let's go for another one, maybe. Well, he's going to pop the tricks of the trade meanwhile, buying some time for the teams to come in, but now he's going to back off. He has a Blink Dagger, by the way, now. Don't use that to get away. Or go back in.
Unfortunately, TA was a long ways away, but TA might be looking for picks now. Bloodthorn onto the... Uh-oh.
I don't think he... oh, yeah, who did he use that on? I'm not even sure.
It was on the Clockwork, but Clockwork immediately force-staffed and TP'd.
Okay.
Now Pike.
Arrow just
They
simply
really want to get kills.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get it, though. Trixie's dead. He does not have a buyback action. Now, Ricky does go down elsewhere. Or Arrow actually gets credit for the kill onto him. Didn't even see him in the midst of that. Terrorblade is going to stay safe enough distance, though, with that Hurricane Pike, the Butterfly, so he's just sitting.
If you can force out a Magnus buyback, that would be great. Bot lane's pushing. You didn't get any damage done on a tier 3 bot, but still, if you force Magnus to buy back, because he has RP, so he would be more than willing to buy back. So ideally, you just let Thug siege. You don't have the Aegis anymore, and you don't have BKB for 30 seconds, so it's a bit risky. So we'll see how confident NiP are. Seems like they're pretty confident.
That they are. Well, they're going to have to hold of some sorts here. Meanwhile, Terrorblade, he's been Fiend Script right here, so he's been locked in pretty heavily. Odie puts him under the big 3-man RP that pushes Barry back into the tower. Ricky's staying there from before, but Bane and Timbersaw also going to die. Skylark, borrowed time popped. He's back to full life, of course, but he's going to die in the long run. So NiP, not only do they choose to hold, but they definitely hold in the end. These RPs continue to work out big time, man.
I mean, they forced out the buyback, but like the idea of forcing out a buyback is you hear the sound and you're like, all right, well, you sold your soul to the devil. We're going to back off now. But instead they were like, dude, I got the Fiend's Grip on the Terrorblade. We can probably kill him. Let's all clump up and we can probably do it. And then like Trixie, like he must have shift queued that blink because like the whole time during the TP animation, people were just getting closer and closer to each other. And he got a 3-man RP yet again. Mouse Sports, like they still have a really substantial net worth lead, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't take any structures. Yet again, they deal 0 damage to the tier 3, and the edge that TA has with early Roches is also diminishing because now Era has a lot of damage. Era is very big. He has a Butterfly completed 10-second BKB on top of this Saint Yasha, and he's going to be going for a Bloodthorn of his own. So Terrorblade is a force to be reckoned with.
What's that about? They really... I think something's here, but I guess it might have been an illusion, to be fair. Yeah, that's what I think it was.
Yeah, it's these Ricky illusions.
It's like scare factor, man. Yeah,
they haven't bought a gem yet on NiP, and so every single time they see one, they're like, it has to be it, let's kill him.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that could be something that would be bad to have, obviously. Terrorblade, though, yeah, has his own Bloodthorn being queued up now, and that on top of the Empower, which level 20 Magnus just hit too, and of course he gets that 10% Empower damage / cleave bonus here now as well. So it's even that much stronger in the hands of Terrorblade especially. He throws it on him, and yeah, OD, you know, hasn't been the prettiest start here for Mickey, but more time this game goes on, seems like the better off he's going to be building his own Shivas here to go with his own 10-second BKB. So yeah, this really felt like it was getting out of hand in favor of Malzahn, but unable to siege as you're getting at, dealing really no damage to that tier 3 tower at either lane. And this is Terrorblade is one of these heroes that if you don't finish the game sooner than later, then that could definitely come back to haunt you, really, as far as the later game goes. So that's kind of where we're at, it feels like. And Ag's finished by Abaddon. So yeah, he's choosing to go really all-out kind of utility support here instead.
I would have, I mean, I did suggest the Ags. I just wish that it would have come before the Solar Crest because, yeah, like, I'm not really seeing the benefit of this Solar Crest in any of these fights. They're not picking off any targets. They're not blinding any targets that are valuable or anything like that. Like, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint where a Solar Crest comes into favor, but if it is difficult to pinpoint, then that means that it probably isn't the best game for it, because sometimes, you know, other games you're like, oh my god, the Solar Crest is so OP. I'm not really finding myself saying that this game, but it'll help take Roche, and the next Roche fight is going to be critical for both teams, because if you've got shiny 10-second BKBs on 2 NiP heroes, but if they can't get into the pit fast enough, then TA plus the Solar Crest is just going to melt Roche. So flares are being put on, but Trap is also in the pit. Both teams are just towing off.
Yeah, both teams definitely have decent ways to spot out Roshan here, so yeah, both definitely know what's happening. It's just a matter of who's going to go in first. Arcane Rune spawns. It's one of those, like, who's going to get it, but Ricky will actually pick it up first.
That's some valuable MVP target to get that.
Yeah. That invis.
Okay, they go in. Flare spots it.
God, that is happening fast. Thug, he is dropping Roshan, and I don't think NiP is respecting that.
Roshan has
Yeah,
fallen into
Skylark actually picks it up on Abaddon here. Interesting. They give it to him over the TA.
Radiant's bottom tower
But I guess
is
full
under
TA is
inventory.
slotted out. She needs her boots, unlike an anti-mage or something like that. She will get permakited if she doesn't have boots, but she has the cheese. Oh wait, she had the cheese. Give it to Timbersaw. Or no? Who'd she give it to?
Maybe somebody else to hold? Ricky? Yeah, looks like Ricky.
Oh, they gave it to Ricky. Okay. Alright, now your siege is looking pretty solid. The thing is that they just need to do that. They need to siege. If they pick a fight, they're picking a fight into 2 10-second BKBs.
There we go. RP, it is ready, so Trixie. That's the solid one so far. Again, Magnus in general in the series, played by both teams, has had big RPs. Is this going to be another one, or will Mouse finally be able to break through? That's what we're trying to find out here. 39 minutes into this game. Elimination game here, but Mouse is not going to force it. They are going to retreat.
Unfortunately, TA doesn't have a pike, and so she doesn't have that bonus range. She has to get really out of position if she wants to be able to deal any damage to the high ground. They sent Abaddon to test the waters. The waters were scalding hot. He lost a bunch of int. Now Spartan, oh, hook misses. TP.
Be out. He
Oh!
is good. Battery assault. Just out of range.
Maybe the cog would have caught him, but still very well played by Spartan. They need to get a pick, and so maybe next time he's going to be spending a lot of time on this Radiant side of the map. And oh, okay, Bane bought the gem. Still, Radiant have not bought in a gem yet, and that's so surprising to me because they have a bunch of great carriers now. Magnus has a lot of, he has a lot of items, but, put the TP inside of your backpack, hold a gem, because if Ricky finds someone, then NiP fall to pieces.
And you got Dust here on Clockwork, but yeah, the gem makes it that much more certain. Guaranteed even. The gem on the other side is currently on the Courier for Mouse. We'll see who ends up with that, but Ricky himself is, in fact, yeah, he gets it. So I'm going to say he's definitely a solid gem carrier, and he will pick it up, and he's looking to finish his own SNY, actually. So goes back to that idea that Ricky himself is going to be a nice combat hero as well. Especially with Abaddon going his support direction instead.
That's surprising, though, because SMY does not really help with high ground sieging, and at this point you need items to help with high ground sieging. Maybe you go for, like, the Basher, or utility items like, I don't think Lincoln's or Lotus would be that valuable. Only thing you can really discourage is Frostbite and Astral, but Sanjin Yasha is a damage-dealing item, and Mouse Sports have no issues dealing damage. Well, they have issues dealing damage to structures, but if they find heroes, they kill heroes. So I'm surprised that maybe next time is going for this, but maybe they just want to farm some more. They're confident in their late game, which I don't really know if they should be, but they're not trying to focus as much energy on picks as I was hoping they would. But Mouse Sports are kind of, NiP are respecting it. They're all sitting in their base anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, looking at the levels overall, and actually that does favor Mouse quite a bit. You got level 25 TA now with the +3 refraction instances, and then Timber's also level 25, and thus the +20 strength on top of all those other talents here. So that's definitely a favor for Mouse. Again, you got, on the other side, it's Terrorblade's at 22, but still a little bit to go before he gets that 25. Then we'll see what he gets. I know you mentioned the idea of the Sunder earlier, the 10-second cooldown, but yeah, 15 total stats. There was that one game we did see it. I'm blanking on which one it was, but
yeah, it was one game. But either he was going to win either way or he was going to lose either way. I don't remember, but it definitely did not change anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's a quick illusions there.
I hope Era doesn't go for it, because someone needs to be able to kill towers, and OD is not really the best tower sieger, Magnus is not the best tower sieger, and if NiP ever make it to the other side of the river, they will just melt towers, but that's assuming that Terrorblade is able to do work, and this is basically like a 5.5 slotted Terrorblade, so he can do work if you let him do it.
Terrorblade just gets that Bloodthorn. He does not have a buyback currently, so...
Oh yeah, you're right. That is risky.
I was literally looking. He had it queued up still, and he had like 5,000 gold saved up. I was like, yeah, how much does he have surplus? But then he just buys it all. I was like, oh, okay. He's choosing to go without it for now.
Well, Aegis is gonna time out in like 15 seconds, so I guess like the worst of it has been weathered, but NiP still are like wedged in their base, which is the right call. Like they're down substantially in net worth, but they have no incentive to leave their base. The only way they lose is if one of their heroes gets picked. You let Mouse Sports come to you.
Well, Mouse is being very patient, though, on the other side, so both sides seem like they're doing the right thing, but thus we have kind of a standoff here as far as...
Two Midases a pop on both teams as well, so both teams are still getting the scalability. Oh, smoke up from NiP. They know that the Aegis is down now.
Gonna make a play. Ricky blink daggers away quickly. I think
they still don't have a gem on anyone on Radiant.
They're still trying to find, though. They're hunting. They're gonna find Timbersaw. Here we go. The open comes out. Bloodthorn applied immediately. Shivas helps slow him down. There's a trap, or the hookshot hits, and the kill on a Timbersaw. However, they want to fight this. Here we go. Tricks of the trade. The beat can be popped by TA. Magnus still has an RP, by the way. One more second cooldown on that blink, so he is ready to go in the back lines. OD chasing. Cannot catch up, though. Ooh, nice double damage spawn. See if they can maybe save that for the TA.
TA's BKB is down for another minute. She doesn't have her bottle anymore. If they could just, like, blow up Mike, that would be great, but he's pretty damn tanky. Okay, well, they get a good pick on the Terrorblade. The Timbersaw. They burn off a few Bloodstone charges. Timbersaw opted not to Yule's off the Bloodthorn Silence, probably because, you know, it sets up for a hookshot, sets up for an RP or a skewer. So I understand why he held off. He was trying to make as much distance as possible for TA to catch up, but that Bloodthorn crit plus the Solar Crust on the Clockwork is way too much damage.
Back to where we were before. NiP just going to push out here in the middle lane. And all the lanes really kind of being constricted in their base. I mean, you see the vision they're working with. They do get some finally up here at the top side. But other than that, pretty blind as far as the vision of the Mouse tier here on the Dire. It's pretty damn good. It's pretty aggressive, as you would expect, as well as a lot of these traps.
Yeah, a lot of traps. The entire Radiant map is just peppered. It's got freaking chicken pox on the mini-map, but that's what they need, because yet again, NiP still have not bought a gem yet. I don't know why not. I mean, I keep bringing it up, but like, in addition to the traps, they went for that smoke, and if Ricky was the hero instead of Timbersaw, what would they have done? They would have just had to, like, dust, but CM is the hero with the dust, and Clockwork, but neither of these heroes can just, like, blink in and dust something. They need to commit one resource, their Force Staff for Clockwork, maybe the hookshot, to get in, but I don't know, they just, like, are so apprehensive about getting that detection.
It does seem a little odd, and in fact, speaking of the other side with the gem, for maybe next time, he does counter that vision that they just had up there, so much for at least having a little bit for NiP. But yeah, definitely an investment that you really kind of scratch your head at, and there we go. Finally, Clockwork will buy it.
Honey, yeah. Okay, so now you need to play Minesweeper. It's not against the techies, but you and your whole team need to go as a unit, because Clockwork himself will die, almost certainly, if he's solo. But if you bring all 5, all your BKBs are up, you know the enemy team doesn't have Aegis, you keep flaring the pit to make sure that Roche isn't going to be up, which it couldn't have even been up right now, but yeah, you're just getting as much information as possible, and they can start getting rid of some of these traps, start getting rid of some of the dire vision, and start gearing up for this Roche, because a tier 3 tower has not gone down yet, so they still have their top shrine as well.
And this is a pretty critical level 25 as well. Abaddon hits it, and I know that from what I've just been hearing from co-casters, just across the board, feels like this is one of the stronger 25 talents in the game right now. I mean, the fact that it more than doubles the effectiveness of a Photic Shield every 5 seconds, essentially, he's giving 500 health to set target, and it explodes for damage as well. But yeah, the Roche is going to be killed off very quickly. Another Aegis This time it'll be picked up by the TA.
That really sucks for NiP. That was like the quickest possible Roche spawn, and they were gearing up. You see like the top quarter-ish of the map finally got rid of all the dire vision, but they weren't able to migrate their way over, and as great as Flare is, it's on a cooldown, and TA just obliterates the Roche. And so now, this 25 A-Fodder shield is going to be a problem, because we've seen how difficult it is for Mouse Sports to get on the high ground, but if you have a spell mitigating 500 damage, then it's a lot easier for a TA to get a few hits here and there. She still doesn't have a Pike or the Dragonlance, so still you have to get very close and personal with the tower to deal damage. But, oh man, she actually dropped her boots. Look how slow. This is like a tank TA with like treads on her feet. Not power treads, but like tank treads.
I like how she has both the boots actually in her backpack, both the treads and the bots. But
it's like her arms are so heavy. She's just like,
how do I carry
these
all
side
these
blades
items?
are so goddamn. They weigh so much.
Yeah, just
The
dragging
smoke
her
up and
down.
she's still super slow. Yeah.
Having some trouble right here. Yeah, almost wants to use smoke just simply for mobility at this point. As that's interesting. Yeah, it's terrible. It's like, oh, do I really want to go though? I mean, it's
this is
scary.
smart. They're splitting it.
Well, they're gonna go for TA, but again, Refraction, she's distracted. But as you said, they're splitting bottom lane. They're pushing the tier 3 in. So I'm trying to keep an eye on both fights right here. TA is eventually gonna caught, pops the BKB. They do not have detection, though, as you mentioned. The heroes that have it are at the bottom lane trying to defend this whole time. So Magnus now he's porting back in, and TA very likely gonna look to join the party here, maybe with the bots coming in. Abaddon, they'll be jumped on.
Nice.
Just with the borrowed time still, of course. There's a counter scythe. On to Hani, meanwhile. Little Disorb, here's Pop going off there. Nightmare on a Terrorblade. He's caught in the midst of this in the front lines as Crystal Maiden will take it off. Terrorblade's getting low, though. He's stunned down. The RP comes in from Magnus, getting the Thunder off. No, he cannot. The Fiend's Grip locking him down. He has a buyback. He's going to use it pretty quickly right here. Freezing Field, doing some good damage. Sanity's Eclipse in the midst of it. Mickey gets some big damage off. Takes out maybe next time. No, the Infest comes out, and he's going to stay alive for the time being, able to blink strike forward.
Cheese.
And he'll somehow survive. Maybe next time pop the cheese. However, he's going to be put under again.
Thug fighting Terrorblade top.
What is happening? They're going at it with a skirmish over here. And now maybe next time is in trouble. Tricks of the trade. No, he couldn't get off in time. Gem will drop right there. But the kill OD in the process. The chase still happening. Meanwhile, in TA, he's barely alive, but he is alive. That's what matters. Sunder is still ready to go again from Terrorblade. Running them down. Not looking to Sunder any targets here, though. He's the one with full life. And chasing after.
Thug
Meta
is
will be
so
popped.
heavy.
4-step forward, trying to go for Skylark. He has borrowed time, though. The evasion's coming out from the Solar Crest. Down goes Magnus as he jumps in. And the buyback onto Ricky now. The BKB and the raid bosses here from Era, putting in the auto attacks into Matara, but not enough. That Lotus Orb helping to keep him alive. And now Thug turns on Era. Era, that's going to be a tieback. He's dead for under 10 seconds. And Mouse might have just broken through all the OD. He's still back up now himself with the buyback. And looking to make some plays, but maybe next time running him down. He's just simply trying to live. Is the OD going toe-to-toe? No, he'll go down to the Ricky as Abaddon is picked off, though. Now Thug is chasing after Madness. This is constantly happening. Non-stop battle here. Trixie is going to get cut down. No buybacks. That may have just done it for Mouse Sports here.
There were a handful of misplays on NiP, but it came down to the fact that Mouse Sports was just able to spread NiP so thin. Thug was able to take down the top tier 3 successfully, and after the first buyback of Terrorblade, he was like, I have to deal with this TA. I can't join the rest of my team for this fight bot. And Madara was just looping around constantly. He doesn't even have his Bloodstone anymore, but he was still having infinite mana regen, was able to sustain throughout the entire siege, and they're going to go for the game, and they're going to get it.
They might as well, yeah. Obviously, at this point, they know for sure no buybacks. If it wasn't confident already, GG's being called. It will be official. Mouse Sports moving on here in the Summit 7 qualifiers to play Pro Dota. They get that rematch, as mentioned from earlier in the event. NiP, their road's going to end here, unfortunately. They got the game victory, but it is a best of 3, and Mouse Sports got the next 2. So well played by them. And you know, with the way that game was going, too, it got really slow there at the end, but it was bound to have an epic fight to finish, and we definitely got it right there. Just back and forth battle between the teams.
A solid, 10 kills, 8 buybacks or so, but in the blaze of fire, Mouse Sports emerges victorious, and they were in control of the game, as you said, pretty much the entire time. The graphs reflect that, but it was all up to NiP, relying on a few lucky factors, but if you have to rely on luck, then the game is probably all too far gone, and it's a rough day for NiP, man. This after a earlier loss at the Mr. Cat Invitational, and now immediately coming into this series, I definitely can take I can empathize with how they were most likely feeling, but
yeah,
You gotta wipe that feeling off and go into the next series, and Mouse Sports are primed to do so against Pro Dota later this event.
Exactly. There's so much competition going on, and good competition at that, yeah, you can't win them all by any means. So NiP has to look elsewhere as far as their tournament play goes. But again, as far as Mouse, they stay alive, going to be playing Pro Dota in the next series. But I want to wrap up here because obviously we're already overlapping into what was the default time of our next series. So I'm sure they're looking to get that ASAP going here. And that will be Vega Squadron versus Alliance here. Some Group B action. The winner goes on to the playoffs. The loser will be knocked down to the loser's bracket there to face NiP. So that should be another good one, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned on Breaking CPK, joined by Tsunami. Game 1 of our next best of 3 coming up next.